Hey, what are you two doing? My anger from yesterday hadn't cooled off, so my tone was harsher than usual when I confronted them. We're just moving your stuff out of the room. It's spacious and perfect for Linda's new room, don't you think? They had ignored what I said yesterday and were removing my belongings without asking. Did you forget what I said yesterday? Stop this nonsense right now. Do you even understand your place, Lisa? John fired back, his voice laced with criticism. Linda, standing next to him, looked at me with a smug smile. My name is Lisa. I'm a bitchy 27-year-old corporate worker, married for 3 years. My husband, John, is the same age as me, 27. He's considered to be a rising star in his company, doing his best to meet those high expectations. We live in an older house that's been fully renovated, almost like new. It's a bit large for just the two of us, but we chose it thinking about a future with kids. Until now, we've had our ups and downs, but always talk things out. I thought we were happily married. That day, I came home later than usual because of work. A woman's code I didn't recognize was hanging by the entrance. A woman's code? Who could that be? I don't remember anyone saying they'd come over. Thinking that, I opened the door to the living room. Ah, Lisa, long time no see. You were late, so we started without you. In walked Lucy, my sister-in-law. She was already pretty buzzed. Lucy is John's younger sister, 25 years old. I've never been particularly fond of her, to say the least. In fact, I thought we were done with each other. Lucy has always been a bright kid. She went to a prestigious university and now works for a top-tier company. She's married to a coworker, and they are both working professionals. When it comes to education, job scale, and recognition, she's got me beat. Lucy seems to enjoy looking down on me every time we meet. She manages to slip in some condescending comment. I could respond, but it would just create future headaches, so I usually just let it go. But that's only made Lucy more brazen. I know it's too late to fix that now. Finally, I had had enough. I cut her out of my life, but that wasn't the only reason. It was also John's behavior towards me. John is usually very considerate and mild-mannered when it's just the two of us. But when Lucy's around, he's equally condescending. I don't know if he's showing off for his sister or what, but he starts treating me like dirt. That behavior from John, despite my warnings, never changed. That was also a factor. Lucy, what's up with you working late? I'll always wrap up on time. I've never had to stay late like you. Feeling bold from the alcohol, Lucy starts talking down to me in a more direct manner than usual. Normally, handling Lucy alone is bearable, but my husband, John, who's also her brother, is sitting right next to her. Since John's drunk too, he jumps on the bandwagon and joins Lucy in belittling me. Come on, Lucy, not everyone is as efficient as you. Some people have to work twice as hard just to be average. Look, not many people are as capable as us siblings. We can judge everyone by our standards. Ah, you're so right. Sorry, Lisa. I guess I was being a bit too judgmental. Well, there's no need to apologize, Lucy. You are awesome. That's a fact. Now the John standing before me felt like a different person. He was looking down on me together with Lucy. I wanted to fire back, but decided to just put on a fake smile to avoid making things more complicated. In the end, Lucy left just before midnight. I really didn't want to clean up so late at night. After all, the mess was made by John and Lucy, not me. But this is my house, so I know I have to do it. John gave me orders as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Look, it's already late. I'm going to bed, Lisa. You clean all this up. At that moment, I couldn't hold back any longer. What's with that tone? Why do you have to clean everything up? You and Lucy made the mess. You clean it up. Why do you expect me to do it right from the start? Don't you think that's strange? John seemed taken aback by my sudden outburst, but then he became even more stubborn, insisting that I had to clean up. I make more money than you know. Stop giving me lip when you earn less. If you can't listen, then let's just divorce. Why are you bringing up money? That has nothing to do with this. Clean up your own mess, and talking about divorce over something like this. John, don't you think what you're saying is crazy? Shut up. Just clean it all up. That's your job. He just said what he had to say and went to the bedroom. In the end, I cleaned everything up by myself. The next morning, John was still in a bad mood. I knew that talking would just make things worse, so I avoided any conversation with him. I wanted to make up with John quickly, but we both left the house without reconciling. I ended up coming home late again that day. My steps were heavy as I walked back into the house. Work and home life were both a mess. I needed to resolve things quickly. The situation was only getting worse with time. I'll apologize to John, no matter what he says, and we'll make up. I was focused on just that. I'm home. As I opened the front door, I saw the same coat from yesterday. I heard familiar voices coming from the living room. You've got to be kidding me, she's here again. As much as I hoped I was wrong, when I walked into the living room, Lucy was there, just like yesterday. She was drinking and making a mess with John. Ah, Lisa, thank you for working so hard, late every day. We started without you because you never seemed to come home. Lucy's sarcastic comment. I wanted to make up with John right away, but with Lucy being there, that was impossible. I genuinely felt Lucy was in the way, yet no one in the room understood my thoughts. We started because you never came home, even though we waited for you. Can't you come home earlier now? John was piling on with Lucy's sarcasm. I couldn't understand why I was being blamed for something we never agreed upon. Moments ago, I was eager to make up with John, but now my spirit deflated rapidly. Why am I thinking so much for these people? This thought began to sprout in my mind. Unaware, John said something outrageous. By the way, Lucy will be moving into our house next month. Make room for her by clearing out some of your stuff. Upon hearing John's words, all my pent-up frustration exploded. Hold on, what's this all about? This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Explain, John? John seemed startled by my sudden change of attitude, but he quickly reverted to his arrogant demeanor he has around Lucy. Of course, it's the first time you've heard it. I'm just telling you now. And Lucy's going to live here. What about her husband? They're not both moving in, are they? Her husband? Oh, you mean her ex-husband. Ex? What's going on? I can't see the full picture. Lucy got divorced recently. Her ex moved out, and she's been living alone. Her lease is up at the end of the month. Isn't it a good opportunity? It's spacious here, and we can save on rent. What? Why didn't you tell me about something so important? I was rapidly losing faith in John. He planned this all by himself and tells me about it while drunk. While I was confronting John, Lucy was watching me with a snide grin. Just accept it, Lisa. It's already decided. I won't accept it. What? Lisa, what are you saying? I said I won't accept it. I won't accept Lucy living here with us. Lisa, what are you talking about? The one who's out of line here is you. John glared at me, and Lucy watched with amusement. I don't know what the two of you are planning, but I absolutely disagree. Both of you sober up and think about what you're going to do with that. I retreated to a separate room. Instead of making up just like yesterday, I spent the day in a separate room. The next morning, I was awakened by a loud noise. What's that noise? Opening my bedroom door and glancing down the hallway, I saw John and Lucy messing around with my stuff and furniture. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Still fuming from yesterday, I confronted them more assertively than usual. We're cleaning your stuff from the room. That room is big and perfect for Lucy, don't you think? Ignoring what I had told them yesterday, they were moving my stuff without my consent. Did you forget what I said yesterday? Stop this nonsense right now. Do you even know your place, Linda? I'm the one paying the rent for this house. What right do you have to oppose what I decide? John retorted in a condemning tone. Next to him, Lucy watched me with a smug smile. I'm the one paying the rent, so you, who hasn't contributed a single dollar, have no say. If you can't listen, maybe we should just get divorced. Divorce? This has to be a joke. What on earth is John talking about? I froze, not comprehending his words. Misinterpreting my silence, Lucy piped up. Lisa, do you even understand your position? You haven't paid a dime. Your arguments have no weight. Why didn't you just give up? You're just making yourself look pathetic at this point. Any lingering affection I had for these siblings had completely vanished. I don't want anything to do with them anymore. That much is clear to me. Let's take this conversation to the living room. I suggested we all move to the living room. At first, they complained, but when I offered to make coffee, they reluctantly followed. I handed them their cups and turned back to John. Look, I've been saying this since yesterday. I didn't agree to let Lucy move in, so please pack her things up right now. What are you talking about? I've said this multiple times. I'm the one who pays the rent for this place. It's my house, so you should listen to me. If you can't, we're getting a divorce. Are you okay with that? You keep saying you're paying the rent. It's your house. But John, do you really believe that? Of course, what are you even talking about? Actually, this is my house. I inherited it from my dad. What are you talking about? Are you lying because you're upset? Nope, no lies here. I inherited this house from my dad when he passed away. In other words, I own this place. Do you get it now? You're lying. If your dad built it, why is it so new? It should be old, right? Do you know what renovation means, John? My dad had the house fully renovated before he went to the hospital. That's why it looks so new. I never mentioned it to you because it was before we got married. Their confident attitudes from before were gone, replaced by silence. But I'm not done talking. I've come this far. I need to say it all, whether they get it or not. I don't care. I've had enough. Even if you're paying rent, this is still my house, John. You're not paying any rent. What you've been paying are our living expenses as a couple. What are you lying? Why would I lie at this point? Remember, you left all the housing paperwork to me, so you didn't even know. Did you even know the average rent in this area? You're just embarrassing yourself. If that's the case, I'll start paying the rent from now on. Happy? Can you afford that, Mr. Unemployed? What unemployed? What are you talking about, John? It seems you've been making some bad choices. Big losses, right? You might have thought you've been hiding it, but your company knows. You should worry about that. You'll likely hear from them after the weekend. They probably thought nobody knew. John is clearly rattled by what I've said. How? Why? Why do you know this? He's so shaken he can barely speak. Well, I've kept it a secret, but your company is actually owned by my relatives. They've been lenient, but you've pushed too far. Even the company has decided they can't keep you. They warned me first because it affects me too. John had become uncharacteristically quiet. Lucy, who was listening to my story, was visibly shaken. Hold on a minute. Are you saying John's getting fired? Is this house really yours, Lisa? Then where am I supposed to live starting next month? I've already canceled my lease, you know. It was unclear whether Lucy was directing her questions at me or John, but she was clearly stunned. She must be having a hard time grasping the situation. This is my house. I decide who lives here. At least for now, I can't live with you anymore, John. Let's go ahead with the divorce you suggested. You can take that back now. And just to be clear, I have no intention of living with you either, Lucy. Where you live for the next month is none of my concern. Actually, just stop involving me in your lives. I wasn't sure if they were really listening when I had said all I needed to say. From here on, it's their problem. I have nothing to do with it. So put my things back where they were. Once that's done, pack your stuff and leave this house. I don't want to see either of your faces anymore. By the end of the day, I had kicked both of them out of the house. The last time I saw their faces after that, I left all the procedures to my lawyers to avoid any complications. John didn't make any fuss, probably realizing he had no choice. Thanks to that, the divorce went smoothly. I heard they both moved back to their parents' homes. John ended up with a mountain of debt between the settlement he owed me and damages from his company. He seems to be working day and night to pay it off. As for me, I'm enjoying a relaxed life in the house I inherited from my dad. I plan to savor this freedom for a while. The days passed, and I focused on rebuilding my life. It wasn't easy, but with each passing day, the weight on my shoulders lightened. I started to rediscover the joy of living without the constant condescension from John and Lucy. The loneliness that followed their departure was temporary, and I soon found solace in the peace and quiet of my own company. The divorce settlement brought financial stability, and I used it as an opportunity to pursue the things that truly made me happy. I invested time in hobbies I had neglected, rekindled friendships that had taken a backseat, and explored new opportunities for personal and professional growth. The empty rooms in the house that were once a source of contention now echoed with the promise of a fresh start. Life without John and Lucy became a testament to my newfound independence. No longer shackled by their judgments and expectations, I embraced the chance to live on my terms. The house, once tainted by their actions, became a sanctuary of my own making. It echoed with laughter, personal victories, and the quiet satisfaction of overcoming adversity. Months passed, and I found a renewed sense of self. The wounds of the past healed, leaving behind scars that told a story of resilience and strength. I learned that sometimes letting go is the key to finding oneself, and true happiness comes from within. In the end, the house that I once thought represented a battleground of discontent transformed into a symbol of triumph. I continued to thrive in the space that was undeniably mine, relishing the peace that came with being free from toxic relationships. The future, once clouded by uncertainty, now held the promise of endless possibilities. As I stood in the doorway, looking at the house that had weathered storms and emerged resilient, I knew that the journey was far from over. But this time, I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with the lessons learned from the past and the unwavering belief that I could create a life that was authentically mine.